Everyone, in this video I want to talk about elderberry. Elderberry is one of my favorite herbs. I really love this herb. Grew all over the Pacific Northwest when I was living there for med school. It has so many powerful benefits for the immune system, and I want to talk about those today. Elderberry got a lot of bad press in the beginning of the pandemic because elderberry increases something called IL-6, which is a cytokine that's been implicated in the cytokine storm. So people were saying, okay, well, if elderberry is going to be increasing IL-6, maybe we don't want to be giving it to COVID patients who already have really high levels of IL-6. The study that was done on elderberry and IL-6 was an in vitro study, meaning it was done in a petri dish, and it had a small bump in IL-6. But the bump in IL-6 you get in the cytokine storm is huge. It's a huge bump in IL-6, nothing in comparison to what was seen in the study. And it's important to note also that IL-6, you need IL-6 in the beginning of viral infections to help to fight the virus. The difference is you don't want it to spiral out of control, and there are a lot of other factors that are causing cytokine storms other than something that like elderberry, which would be contributing. There are a lot of beneficial anti-inflammatory effects to elderberry, which will help potentially lower cytokine storms, which we'll see. So elderberry is high in something called anthocyanins, which are a type of antioxidant, which when consumed get converted into ferulic acid in the blood. So ferulic acid is a very powerful anti-inflammatory. It blocks one of the key cytokine storm mediators, something called HMGB1. So HMGB1 is one of the signaling molecules which directly stimulates the cytokine storm in cells. So ferulic acid helps to block that. Ferulic acid also helps to block something called NOX2, which is another signaling molecule which blocks the antiviral response. So by blocking NOX2, we can get an uptick in the antiviral signal, something called the interferon 1 response. So by blocking NOX2, we get an increase in this interferon 1 response, which is very important for decreasing viral load. So again, anthocyanins in elderberry convert to ferulic acid, which leads to that. Elderberry is also very high in one of my favorite nutraceuticals, quercetin. So quercetin does so many amazing things in the body. It is also a blocker of the HMGB1 signaling molecule, so it helps to block that. Elderberry also helps to block one of the main inflammatory markers going on in cytokine storm, something called the inflammasome, NRLP3. So quercetin helps to block the NLRP3 inflammasome. Quercetin also helps with blocking viral entry into cells. So quercetin can come in and block viral entry of viruses into cells. And elderberry also acts as a zinc ionophore. So zinc is a very powerful antiviral. It goes inside of cells and helps to block viral replication. The problem is that zinc doesn't very readily get inside of cells, so we need a way of getting the zinc inside of cells. And quercetin docks to the membrane of cells and helps to funnel zinc inside of cells, where it can act as a strong antiviral. Elderberry is also high in one of the derivatives of quercetin called 5,7,3', 4' tetra O methylquercetin. Which is a derivative of quercetin, which helps to block viral entry into cells as well. So it's blocking viruses entering cells. Quercetin is also high in vitamin C. So vitamin C is a very powerful antioxidant and is responsible for so many powerful immune effects in the body. Vitamin C helps to increase the number of natural killer cells. So natural killer cells are the cells that monitor the immune system. They They enter the body, they roam the body looking for virally infected cells and then kill those cells. Vitamin C helps to increase the activity of natural killer cells. So it's making them more active, searching and roaming for these infected cells. It also increases the adaptive immune response by increasing the number of B and T cells, which are very important for our immune system to get a handle on infection in later stages, and increases something called the Th1 response, which is one of the main antiviral responses of the body as well. So there have been several studies looking at elderberry and upper respiratory infections, viral infections in humans, and in one double-blind, placebo-controlled study in Israel, elderberry was shown to decrease the days that people had URI symptoms by 4 days. So people were experiencing symptoms only for 2 days compared to placebo, where they were experiencing 6 days of symptoms. So elderberry helped to decrease the duration of upper respiratory symptoms in these patients. So typical doses for elderberry are around 500 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day. So you're getting about 1 to 2 grams of elderberry. Those are pretty typical doses. It's important to note that elderberry cannot be consumed raw. In its raw state, it is poisonous. It has something called cyclogenic glycosides, which are very poisonous to the body. Elderberry needs to be cooked and processed. So if you're out foraging in the woods and you see some elderberry, do not eat it because it is poisonous. You need to process it first before you can consume. So those are some of the reasons I love elderberry for the immune system. It's such a great, beautiful herb, and I hope you enjoy it and you're not afraid to use it.